Hello folks, All Like the One here. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at my new favourite knife, the Spyderco Endura Mark IV with full flat grind. This has basically replaced my primary bushcraft knife, which was the Falkniven F1, which has served me well for over 5 years now and is still a smashing blade. As you can see, it is a little worn and beaten up now and has taken absolute battering, and obviously I won't expect the same kind of abuse taking from the Spyderco as I've put this Falkniven through, but my kind of approach to the tools I use in the woods now has changed slightly, and I no longer require such a heavy duty knife. So onto the Spyderco Endura 4 full flat grind. Comes in this attractive cardboard box featuring the Spyderco gold logo and some information about the knife there. Go ahead, open it up. I have had this out already. This is just to show you guys how it comes, just in a bubble wrap inside there. Some information about the knife and warranty, etc. But as to the knife itself, my subscribers will know that usually I choose stainless steel or black knives and tools, so I thought I'd go crazy and go for something a bit different. So I've chosen this British racing green scale, very nice scales, G10. Features this finely textured, super grippy pattern, so very unlikely to slip from your hand, and I've found that it does actually provide a hell of a lot of grip, so definitely can be relied on there. As you can see, it features I think it's a stainless steel pocket clip, fairly rigid, large, does the job nicely, feels secure in a pocket or in a pouch. As you can see, it's secured by 3 torque screws there, and it can be reversed on for either left or right-handed carry, or point up or point down, tip up, tip down carry. But actually I probably will end up removing mine, because I found that during prolonged use it was kind of starting to irritate me and provide a slight hotspot there. So probably will get rid of that clip, but for this demonstration I'm just leaving it on. Good feature of this knife is the fact that it can be taken apart for cleaning and servicing, etc., or if you want to change the scales or pimp them up in some way, that's possible. As I said, G10 scales available in several different colours. If we look to the inside, you can see there are stainless steel skeletonized liners underneath the G10 to add strength and rigidity to the design, which is a great feature, and that skeletonization does minimize weight. Features a very solid backlock, which has a really reliable sounding snap to it when opened. Locks up solid as you like, no left and right or up and down play, so feels extremely well made, as you'd expect from a Spyderco. Does feature some jimping on the reverse of the handle here, gives you a nice purchase, and again just at that point here on the actual blade itself there's some more jimping for a nice controlled push cut, for example, and just stops your thumb sliding forwards. As to the blade itself, I'll just give it a little clean, but it's made from a high quality VG10 steel, and in fact one of the reasons why I do love this knife is because the Falky is also made from VG10 steel, which I find strikes a really good balance between being fairly easy to sharpen and keeping a nice sharp edge for a long time. So yeah, made from the same steel. As I said, I wouldn't expect the same kind of use out of the Spyderco. I mean, the thickness there is at least a millimetre or two thicker on the Volkniven. I completely feel fine about prying actions with the Volkniven. I have done it loads of times, and the tip has remained intact mostly. So I wouldn't put that kind of strain onto the Spyderco, especially as it tapers out to a fine point. But as I said, my philosophy of use with my bushcrafting gear has changed somewhat recently, so this now fits the bill nicely. Features the Spyderco opening hole, as you'd expect, which does allow for one-handed opening and closing, although closing with one hand is a little tricky. I find if you depress the back lock and flick it slightly, probably not the safest way to do it. You're probably better off just pushing it against something like so and then closing it with your hand. I have seen people open these really quickly. I haven't quite got the knack of it yet, but yeah, opening it with one hand is not a problem. I guess you could close it like this as well. Not ideal closing with one hand, but it's doable, so that's always a good point. The spine of the blade is nicely squared off, so does strike a fire steel nicely. Very lightweight. I believe it weighs in at around, let's just see now, weighs in at 3.4 ounces or 96 grams, so it's very lightweight. I'll just do a quick check on the Volkniven. Yeah, so the Volkniven's way heavier even without the sheath. So getting back to the Spyderco, I went for the full flat grind. Features a slight secondary bevel just on the edge there, which makes the edge a bit stronger. Yeah, so full flat grind, it's good general purpose shape, especially for woodworking and bushcrafty type tasks. I think it really works well in that capacity. I know this wasn't the nice primary design purpose, but I think it works really nicely in a bushcraft context. Whereas before I'll be batoning wood with my knife. Ultimately, yes, it can do it, no problem, but it's not an ideal use for a knife, especially one that's, you know, sort of 4 or 5 inches. It's not really designed for that purpose, although it is up to the task. Nowadays, obviously, to do any kind of batoning, I just pull out this small hatchet and it gets the job done nicely with no fear of damaging the tool. And I just think it's also a safer way to baton, as you've got more distance between yourself and the cutting edge, so less chance of an accident, in my opinion, especially when you're tired. Yeah, so as I no longer require my knife to do heavy duty tasks like that, so far I've used this for feather stick making, cutting cordage, shaping wood for various projects, anything along those kind of lines. Handles it absolutely brilliantly. Have had it out in the woods once so far, and really worked out well for me. And as I said, I have not actually sharpened this blade as yet, and it's had about 2 hours use of pretty good use out in the woods, and so we'll just see how it cuts at the moment before I sharpen. Yeah, I mean, that's still absolutely hair popping sharp. So in my mind, edge retention is good. I was only using green wood, so didn't have to go against anything too hard, but definitely a good sign, and thoroughly enjoying it so far. Yeah, not too far off in blade lengths, these two. So again, suits my you know, what I've been practicing with for many years now. Kind of similar blade dimensions. So there's an element of familiarity there for me when moving on to the Spyderco. This particular model is available in several different blade edge styles, including serrated, if that's your cup of tea. But as a medium duty kind of bushcraft knife, I think this will work really nicely for me. And as I said, I have replaced my fork niven in my normal bushcrafting kit with this. So the Spyderco Endura was one of Spyderco's flagship model knives, and is now in its 4th generation, and is still going strong. It's taken me a while to get around to getting one of these. I've always been interested in them, and now I've actually got my hands on one. I actually really love it. So definitely a double thumbs up from me on that one. So I hope you've enjoyed this quick desktop review. There will be more shots of me using it out in the woods at some point shortly. You can be sure of that. If you're a subscriber, then I appreciate your support, and if you're not, please press the subscribe button beneath for this and many other interesting news, reviews and discussions. PS folks, please stay tuned. My next video will be showing this knife in my new bushcraft pouch configuration. Stay tuned. I hope you found this video useful and helpful. This is All Outdoor One, signing out for now. Thanks for watching. Take care.